Hello, hello, you beautiful souls. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Michelle. We talk all things life, love, spirituality, law of attraction, and all of that juicy goodness. We are here for our energy reading for the week. So welcome. If this is your first time to my channel, we do cards, we pull pages from books. I share a lot of my personal stories. So thank you so much for being here. Like, comment, subscribe, do all the things to attach your energy to this community because it is such a wonderful space to be in. And I feel called to open sacred space, and then we're going to use, we're first going to pull cards from the deck that I created in memory of my daughter, Micah Magic. And then we're going to pull a page from a new book. I bought this, actually, my guides brought this book to me. It's funny how when you're early on in your spiritual awakening journey and you're in that like bliss bubble phase where you just love everybody and everything is so synchronistic, you're seeing all the numbers and signs and you're getting the videos and the content that you need to help you grow and expand. And this was one of my favorite books. I just love the colors, number one. It looks great on a shelf, but there's so much good information in here. So yeah, we're gonna do a page from this as well. But this was brought to me by my guides back in 2019, I think, and it was exactly what I needed right when I needed it. So I felt called to use it today. So we're gonna call in my guides that I usually work with, which is Archangel Michael and Archangel Metatron, as I like to call them, my man Mike and my man Meta. Archangel Michael, Archangel Metatron, please open sacred space. Please only allow the highest and whitest light messages to come through. Please bless my table, bless my viewers and their families and their homes. Please put your protective white bubble around them and their spaces. Please remind them to command their spaces. Please jump into their bodies and have them cleanse themselves daily. It is so important to do that. I had 5 of my nieces' college friends over last night. We did like a little like reading party just for like just shooting the shit, hanging out at her aunt's house. They all came in. I had my massage table set up. We pulled cards. I laid them all down on the massage table. I cleansed their energy. I cut cords from any ex-boyfriends. And it was cute. They were all like hanging out. It was like a girls' night, and they were all just like talking about their exes and friends and anybody that's ever hurt them. So it was like a group healing session, but in a fun and light way. And it's something, one of my favorite things about doing that is looking at their eyes after they get off the table. It's like there's this new light. It's like they have this sparkle in their eye. They came in my door and they were bright and fun and exuberant and all these different things, but they just didn't have the sparkle that they had after they got off the table, the massage table, and after we did the cards and stuff. So healing is real. And sometimes you just need somebody just to cleanse your energy, to cut cords, to talk you through it, to teach you how to cleanse your own energy. We were using lavender water. We were using my Palo Santo. The massage table was heated. I did like a little bit of a head massage as we were doing it. So all human beings, we need this time to nurture our energetic field, our soul, our bodies, our minds, our hearts. We need somebody to listen to us. We need somebody to give us that healthy physical touch. And there was this one girl, she was so sweet. I just felt like her and I really connected. She was like manifesting every night. And I don't know, I could see it in her eyes the most. And she even looked at me and she goes, I just feel so much better. She's like, and she was smiling, and I don't know, it made my night. So I don't know, I feel like I want to do that more, and I don't know how to facilitate that, but I know my guides will bring it to me. It just felt so fun just to hang out and to be able to make them feel good. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Thanks for listening, guys. Okay. Back to the reading. What messages do we need to hear this week? And why am I shuffling like this? With my deck, I always do the spread out because there's so many. Maybe we'll use my God deck next. Fun fact, when I chose my daughter's name, oh, I got to share a vision that I had. Okay, so when I chose my daughter's name, her dad and I, his name was Bill, or is Bill, we were just sitting and looking at baby books. So they told me I was having a boy at my 18-week appointment. They pointed to the penis. They're like, you're having a boy. We did a reveal party. The bakery tinted the cake blue. We had no idea until we cut the cake, both of us. Nobody knew but the bakery and the technician at the ultrasound. So they told us, my ring just got caught in my hair, that we were having a boy. So my whole pregnancy, we did a boy baby shower. I had boy clothes. The boy room was done. And then 3 days before I delivered, I had an emergency ultrasound because I was measuring very big. And I was so sick my whole pregnancy. I was like, I'm never getting pregnant again. This is the worst. I threw up like 10 times a day. It was terrible. I was hospitalized twice because I was so dehydrated. But we were picking out names, and 3 days before I delivered, like I already had the name picked. We picked Micah William. We just picked it out through a baby book. We wanted something like Michelle, but we didn't want Michael. And Micah is similar to that. And I looked up the meaning of it. I think I might have even looked up the meaning of it when I picked it, but I wasn't spiritual at all back then. But it's one who is like God. So how crazy is that, that she has been such a huge piece of me connecting back to God, to the universe, to spirit. And her name is one who is like God. So it's like, we're all aspects of God, but the fact that I picked that name just blew my mind. And the fact that she has such an impact on my life. So 3 days before I delivered, I had this emergency ultrasound, and the technician was like, wow, she's really swimming around in there. And I was like, oh, it's not a she, it's a he. And she looked at me like, with funny eyes. And I was like, what do you mean? And she was just like, there's the vagina, sweetie, you're having a girl. And I was like, what? I started crying because I was so type A. I was not a free spirit back then. The whole room was done, and I'm about to deliver this baby I've been waiting for. And now everything's not organized. So in my mind, that type A teacher in me was just like, oh my gosh, I don't have control. And that was the beginning of me learning how to be in the unknown, and that you can't plan life. So I'm sharing this message with all of you. The channeling has begun. You cannot plan your life. Okay. As much as you want to, if you're trying to get pregnant and it's not happening, it's like your 5th or 6th time. I'm so sorry that that's happening to you. I'm not saying give up. I'm just saying that sometimes we have to go with this. We have to move with it and see where it's taking us. We cannot plan it, right? And then when Micah was born, she was born with a muscle disorder. So those 3 days before, I found out I was having a girl, stepping into the unknown. And then 3 days later, I have a baby who's not moving her arms and legs and is struggling to breathe. And I'm like, what is life? Like, it completely flipped me upside down, like completely. And I'm totally feeling emotion coming up, because I remember I just had a vision of me in the hospital bed, because I like couldn't hold her and stuff because she was in the NICU. And I remember just Googling, they called it low tone. And I remember Googling low tone, and it was like muscular dystrophy and all of these different things. And I was like, I was literally like, I thought I was having a boy, and I thought everything was going to be perfect. And then life throws you, this total whatever. So I had to roll with it. But her name means one who is like God. And from that day forward, I learned to be a free spirit, to never plan anything or be attached to the outcome of anything, and to ride the wave and know that in every moment, God has your back and God is leading you somewhere. And this deck is that. It's Micah magic. It's the magic of, you can't plan your life, but we can have fun and pivot and learn along the way. So thank you for listening to that spiel. Sorry, I got emotional, but it was some dark times during that phase. Okay, we have clear the clutter. So this week we're being called to clear what no longer serves us. What don't we want anymore? Oh, frog spirit, take a vacation. I am dying for a vacation. Anybody else? I just want to go to like a beach and just lay on the beach in a cute little bikini, cute little thong, get my little heinies all tan. Okay, clear the clutter, vacation. Feel good to attract good. So if you want to call in that vacation, that's one thing I was doing with my niece and all of her friends last night as I was teaching them how to manifest. And they were kind of like, well, we don't really know what we want to manifest. And then like 2 hours later, we were talking about concerts and vacations. And I was like, you guys, that's what you can manifest. You can manifest like backstage tickets to a concert or front row seats to a concert or a cool vacation with your friends. And they were like, oh my gosh, we didn't even think of that. So sometimes our human brain can't even go to a space of wanting or thinking about how things could be better, you know? So it was important to teach them that the way they felt last night, leaving my apartment, feeling energetically clean and clear and excited about life, that's how we're supposed to feel all the time. And we're not supposed to be consuming our brains and our bodies with chemicals, with Netflix, with all these things that lower our vibration. So last night I gave them like a feel good to teach them this is how life can be. Sometimes we have to show people what's possible. So I'm sharing this with you because where are you lowering your vibration by your surroundings, by TV? I forget what I was watching. And I think it was a YouTube reel, and the guy was talking about how, you know, when you watch, you know, you watch All Healthy Things, or you're watching the Gaia Network, or YouTube and like spiritual content, and then you go and watch like a crime show on Netflix or something, right? That's literally, I think the guy described it as, say you're making a brownie. I think it was Prince EA who said it on his Instagram reel. Say you're making a brownie and you put a little shit as an ingredient, a little bit of poop in your brownie. And is that going to change the brownie? Yes. So do not put Netflix, crime shows, anything that's going to lower your vibration into your brain, because it's changing the ingredients in everything. It's going to ruin that experience. It's going to, I forget how he described it. He said it so well. Because somebody was like, oh, it can't hurt to watch a little bit of Netflix. It can't hurt to watch a little bit of crime TV. Well, does adding shit to a brownie change it? Yes. So it does affect it. It will hurt your brain because you're totally lowering your vibration and you want to stay high vibe and feeling good. So maybe that's what clear the clutter is. Clearing out all of these habits and things that you're just like, ugh, this doesn't make me feel good anymore. Co-create your days. Let's get another card on that. What do we mean by co-create your days? Okay, a past loved one is here. So when you are waking up each day, talk to your angels, talk to your guides, talk to your loved ones who've passed away, and ask them, say, hey, could you bring me to this person today? Or could you really help me get out of my head and help me have a really amazing day? I know I have had a pretty low 3 weeks. And yesterday I just set the intention. I was like, I get to choose. I'm like, Michelle, do you want to spend this next 24 hours being miserable and sad and wondering why you're not in a creative mode and why you're feeling this way? Or do you just want to get out of your head and just go have fun? And yesterday ended up being a really freaking awesome day. It ended really great too with my nieces and her friends. It's time to create. And I just heard be intentional. Okay, I'm going to get a page from the book now. Ooh, we have a reason for fear and the wisdom of anger, but I went to the wisdom of anger first. So I'm going to read that first. It says, since many past traumas are inspired by the unconscious expression of anger, it is natural to shut down when such an emotion is triggered, whether it is fear of the retribution of others or the harm we may project outward. Anger exists as one of our fiercest allies when recognized, acknowledged, and welcomed as a helper in disguise. From the standpoint of ego, anger is a reaction to being wronged or rejected, because ego exists in an unconscious state of incubation. It perceives rejection or wrongdoing whenever it doesn't get its way. As our consciousness expands, we become keenly aware that even when outcomes don't seem to align with our deepest desires, it doesn't necessarily indicate any injustice has occurred. From the perspective of the soul, no character needs to be blamed for the outcomes in play or for the emotions that get triggered, since the deepest aspiration of the soul is to respond from its highest consciousness, no matter how unfair situations seem to be. It is essential to make peace with anger so it can serve us as the ally it was created to be. So this is kind of like saying like what I was talking about, like, if you think about my story, I could be so angry that I had a daughter who suffered. She literally suffered. She was poked and prodded for 6 weeks, all these tests done on her. She barely could breathe. Like, what does that feel like? I often like really wonder, like, what was her soul experiencing? We feel pain, we feel pinches, we feel those things. And as a baby, they can't communicate it. So I was angry at the time. And I just was like, why is she suffering? Why do I have to watch it? Why can't I do anything about it? And why is this happening? And there was just so much why. And I was not spiritually connected back then. I didn't understand souls. I didn't understand that we choose our path. So the anger that you're experiencing in your life from certain circumstances, like maybe why you're single, or maybe why you're at the job you're at, or why you lost your parents or a sibling or a child, the anger has to kind of guide you. It's going to show you where your mind is keeping you stuck. The ego wants to keep you angry. It wants to keep you in a low vibration. And the soul is saying, hey, let's look at this from a higher consciousness and see how maybe we chose it. It's making us better in some way. My daughter and that experience made me the most loving human being that I could ever possibly be. In no comparison to anybody else, just for me as a person, I shifted over that course of that year. I was so attuned now to everybody else. So when I walk into a store, when I walk into a restaurant, I start every single conversation that I have with the assumption that somebody just lost somebody close to them. Every time. I try my best to get out of that lower consciousness of, just seeing the person in front of me maybe being annoying or being loud or whatever it is. I don't even see that anymore. I see people's souls. I rise above and I go, wow, I wonder if they're suffering. Maybe I'm going to make them smile. And I don't overgive. I listen. I ask them questions. I help them try to figure out what lights them up, because I know that I was in a dark space and I needed to figure out what lit me up in order to dig myself out. So now I feel like my mission is, because I have the higher perspective and I walk through life with compassion for everybody, I start every conversation with, maybe they're hurting. How can I lift their spirits? Or I walk by somebody when I go for my walks and I intentionally make eye contact to say, I see you. I want to make sure that you have a nice walk. And I'll walk by the person, I'll look at them and be like, hi, enjoy your walk. Isn't it a beautiful day? And some people, I can feel them being like, wow, she's really eager. She's really positive, but I don't care, because I know that that's my mission. My mission is to poke them in their triggers, to make them see that it is possible to be in a higher consciousness, into a joyful state and a peaceful state on a consistent basis. Yes, I have sad days. Yes, I have weeks of sadness, but I still show up and step out of the anger that I could be feeling, because that's a low vibration, even though we're meant to feel it. And I'm going to say, okay, this anger is teaching me that I'm not in control. Anger, underneath anger is grief. Okay, so if you have anger, if you're dealing with somebody who has major anger issues, a lot of times underneath that is grief. And you're learning that, wow, this person's just really sad about something that they couldn't control in their life. They're sad about their finances, about their career, about a loss, about abuse, about the fact that they think there's this dark cloud over them their whole life. But what they're not realizing is that they're creating that cloud more and more and more, because they're not having that higher perspective to see that the cloud is there to teach them something. It's there to wake them up. So use the anger that's showing up in your body as a beacon to say, where do I need growth? Why is this person making me angry? They're not. They're pushing a button inside of you that's spilling that anger out. And you have to go in and say, what's underneath that button? Oh, this person reminds me of my mom, or this person reminds me of my dad or my sibling, or this injustice that I had in school as a kid. And that person has the same personality and they're triggering me. They're not the issue. What's inside of me is the issue. Because at some point you want to get to a space where anybody can say anything and the buttons are gone. You're in this higher consciousness. You are in your being and you're just light and love and compassion and forgiveness, and nothing pushes your buttons anymore. That's ultimate peace. And it takes a lot of work to become aware, to purge that energy, to dive deep into those traumas of who did hurt you and cause you to have that grief, which is now layered over with anger. When you get to the root and you see why you have that belief system, you can then forgive that person because they made you better. If you didn't have that anger, you wouldn't be doing this work, right? So the anger essentially is there to help you do the work, to peel it away, to get to the grief, to get to the root. Thank the person because now they've just made you better. Okay, let's do 3 more cards. Your angels are asking you to use them. Interesting. I wonder what they're wanting you to do. Let's see. A cycle is completing. So if you're seeing 1010 on the clock, on a license plate, on an address, that means something is coming to a close. There's a chapter closing. Why do your angels want you to use them? You are awake. Now keep your light lit. Okay. So sometimes we can, oh, it's 11:11 on my clock. Sometimes we can feel like our light is being dimmed and we're not, how can I say this? Sometimes we feel like we're off track and we're not feeling as bright as we used to, but we're still lit. Your angels and guides want you to ask for help. Ask them to change you into a person who can take action to do something to light you up, to make you feel better. And that's usually when a cycle is completing that we're feeling dark and dim because we can't see what's next. There's a door closing and our old life is kind of coming to an end. We're being reborn and we can't see the next steps. We don't know what's in the next chapter. And look at the bottom of the deck. 1212, you're in the flow, so stay there. Okay, let's move on to another deck for this week's reading. Let's do an animal deck. Spirit Animal Oracle. Wolf, turn knowledge into wisdom. And I love his eyes here. I know I've talked about this before. Do you see the angel wings like underneath his blue eyes? Number 67, which adds up to 13. 13 is a very spiritual number. I also wanted to guide you guys. I just saw on Christina the Channel's channel and her Instagram that you can kind of figure out, you know how I do a spirit animal spread, an animal for every single month of 2023. You can also do a numerology spread and you can figure out what number you have for each month. And I still have to do research on what the numbers mean. But what you do is say you figure out what your total year number is. So you take your birthday. My birthday is August 19th. So it's 8, 19, 20, 23. And you take in each individual number. So 8 plus 1 from the 19, 8 plus 1 plus 9 plus 2 plus 0 plus 2 plus 3. That turns out to be, I think, 17. Or no, mine was 16, I think. And then you take the 16 and you break that down. 1 plus 6 equals 7. So I have a year number of 7, which is kind of cool because that's what 2023 is. 2023 is the year of the 7. And I think it's the year of slow abundance growth, like 7 of Pentacles energy, if you look up that card. So my whole year is number 7. And now for each month, what you do, you take that 7 and you add it to the number of the month. So January is month number 1. 1 plus 7 is 8. So the month of January is a number 8. February, month number 2. 2 plus 7 is 9. February is a 9 number. And then I forget what book she had, but then you can go online and look up what each number means. because there's a certain number that's good for planning. There's a certain number that's good for resting and taking a vacation. And you can kind of plan your year out to do certain projects or to go somewhere according to the number of the month. So I highly recommend doing that. If you need more information on that, go to Christina, the channel on Instagram. She did a reel on it. It's really cool. But using that knowledge to learn, I'm hearing that we're being called to learn about ourselves so deeply that we can plan ahead, even though you can't plan your life, but you can prepare ahead and kind of know who you are. You know, what is best for you? What kind of environment should you be living in? What kind of schedule should you have? What kind of boundaries do you need? I know for me, December kicked me in my ass, and it made me realize that I am not taking care of myself. I'm not paying attention to what my needs are. I was not setting boundaries. I literally was just throwing myself to the wolves and being like, I'll just do anything. I'll do anything to get myself secure and feel safe and stable, meaning I'll do as much business as I can, but I can't do that. There's a certain time of night that I have to turn my phone off. There's certain foods I cannot put in my body. There's certain days where I have to not go to the gym, or certain days when I need to get into nature instead of going to the gym. But I was just loosey-goosey, just going with the flow. I was not structured saying, this is what I need. And I learned that lesson. The universe just clicked it on in December and was like, Michelle, you're going to smack your ass down. You're going to take off for 2 weeks and you're going to listen and you're going to learn what your body needs. Okay. Let me make sure I don't have any messages. We're good to go. Okay, let's do some animal cards. So turn knowledge into wisdom. Figure out what it is you need to learn about yourself. What would set yourself up to feel better? If you guys didn't catch it, I did a video on how to read cards and how to read tarot. We got the wolf again. Holy Toledo. 2 wolves. So cool. Okay, so yeah, if you didn't check out that video, go scope it out. I gave you guys tips on how I do this and how I read cards, because I've never read this card in that way. I've never talked about the wolf spirit saying you need to go learn about your numerology, or you need to learn about your boundaries or your habits. Normally, I would say turn knowledge into wisdom. This is saying like go write a book or go do something with your experiences that you've learned in your life. So the wolf is like the leader of the pack. He is a tribe leader. You are being called to lead in some way. You're a family person. You're fiery energy. You're grounded. You're kind of like, I know what I want and I'm going after it. I'm not going to stop until I get it. And I'm going to work tirelessly to get it. And then we have the fish. So this kind of represents the December energy that I was in, which I think some of you might have been in. There's also a full moon that just passed. So we have the moon here showing up. You might have been feeling like you've been a fish out of water, not knowing where you go next, not knowing who you are, flopping around, disorganized, putting random things in your body, not having any structure in your life. This time is over. You are now this strong, disciplined soul who is eyes on the prize. And the eyes are so similar, right? Look at those eyes. All right. Let's do some Muse Tarot. Chris Ann's Muse. Spirit, what message do my viewers need to hear for the first half of the week? We'll do a card for the first half of the week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then we'll do Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Okay, 5 of inspiration. You're mastering the game of life. It feels like you're trying all these different things and nothing's working. It's like, who am I? Am I supposed to be doing this? Am I supposed to be doing that? It's like you can't seem to figure it out. It's kind of like the fish out of the water energy. You're all over the place, and that's okay, because sometimes we have to try all these different things and different versions of ourselves to figure out what it is we don't want and what it is we do want. And it's kind of like dipping your toe in all these different ponds, trying to figure out what's the best one for you. Okay, Spirit, how about we get a card for Thursday, Friday, and Saturday? How are we coming out of that energy? Thank you. Page of Voices. Okay, so this is Page of Swords. So it's seeing clearly, having clarity about all those different aspects of yourself. And look, I'm matching all the different women in all black. So the page is new. They're new to the journey. It also could mean communication is coming in and you're looking at somebody with fresh eyes. I just heard new passion, new relationship, and you're seeing clearly. You're seeing this person so differently now. You're like, wow, you don't trigger me like you used to. It's because you've gotten your ego out of the way. Seeing life through a new lens. Seeing life through a new lens. Okay, let's do the work your light. Also, side note, if anybody is shuffling cards and they're really thick and like they're like card stock, it's almost easier to shuffle long ways because you get a better grip of pulling the cards away from each other. So if you ever wonder why I switched to do long ways and sideways, sometimes it's because the cards are thicker and it helps to shuffle a little bit better. It's easier to get jumpers. All right, cut the deck because nothing's jumping. Sisterhood of the Rose, beauty and devotion, priestess, mystic, teacher. So you might be realizing, I just heard that you didn't realize that you have these special gifts. You've been going through life trying to figure out who you are, what you're supposed to be doing. And now you're seeing it differently through this lens and you're realizing that you are a teacher. You are a mystic. You're somebody who changes people's lives. You leave a mark. So me last night helping my niece and her friends, I just felt like this beautiful, like, I don't know. I felt like this sage who was able just to take all of their worries away for the moment and then send them off on their way. And they just felt so good. It's like I gave them a drug, but it was the healthiest drug on the planet. I connected them back to themselves. And you might be seeing that you have that gift too. You walk into a room, you leave a mark. You have conversations with somebody, you leave a mark. You're the type of person who you're sitting at a restaurant and you're talking to the server about how they're feeling that day, instead of just treating them as somebody that's serving you. You're realizing that wherever you go, you are teaching and you are guiding and you are healing. Let's see. Let's do an angel card. I haven't done my angel deck in a while. So this is Doreen Virtues. Whoa, hello. Oh, we have you are safe. You are protected, you are safe. The unicorn are your angels and guides taking you to where you're supposed to go next. So you might be, that message was you're a teacher, you're a guide, and you're kind of like, well, how do I do that? How do I make money? How do I put myself out there? The universe is going to show you the way. Just hop on its back and let it take you. Ooh, allow love. I love this one. So this is somebody who's not always open to the full expression and acceptance of love, of unconditional love. It's like you have this wounded piece of you that's like, this is too good to be true. This can't be real. I don't know if I can trust this. I don't know if I can allow this. And she has her head down because she's just not sure. She's not open. Somebody that's open is here and is like head up, chest out, shoulders back, and they're open. Okay. They talk about that a lot in yoga classes, like opening up that heart center. So I just heard you might be terrified to open up to love, but your guides and angels are saying it's safe. You're safe to walk this path. do 2 more here. We'll do one from this deck and then one from my God deck, and then we'll call it a day. Expression. So again, blue, the rainbow. I said rainbows. That means a miracle's on the way. The umbrella is blue, and our dress is blue. Expression is the throat chakra. Blue is the color of the throat chakra and of communication. So somebody is going to be expressing themselves to you, and they're saying, you are safe. It's safe to trust it. Allow them to express and forgive them. Maybe it's somebody new coming in, expressing new feelings to you. You are worthy of receiving this love, so allow it in. Okay, and now we have my God deck, the Course in Miracles deck. Let's get a message from God. Universe, what do you want us to hear? Thank you. The light has come. Today, the time of light begins for you and everyone. It is a new era in which a new world is born. The old one has left no trace upon it in its passing. Today, we see a different world because the light has come. So it's something's being illuminated. There's a new beginning, a new start, a new excitement. It's this energy. You're seeing things differently, or somebody else is seeing you and finally being like, wow. They're like, wow, you're everything I've ever wanted. And that might be startling to you because you might be like, wait, why didn't you see it before? And you might be annoyed at it, but you can't. That's your ego. That's your ego still wanting the outcome to be the way you want it to be. And remember, you can't plan the outcome. You can't plan life. You have to learn to pivot and to go with the flow. And just like you have been, sorry, I just totally bumped the table. Just like you've been a fish out of water, and somebody now has their eyes on the prize. They know that it's you that they want. But it took them a while to get into that energy because they were a fish out of water. They didn't know what they wanted in their life. And guess what? That's the trick of the ego. The ego keeps you in this, I want superior material things. I want status. I want money. I want fame. I want to be the person that has the best career. But when that all falls away, when the ego falls away, it's like, wow, I really was missing everything that I was wanting, and it was right in front of me. How could I miss that? It was pure love, and I wasn't allowing the love to show me the way. I was being moved by my ego. And when we let go of the ego, the light has come. We now have a new lens. We're seeing life through love and not fear. Because the ego, it's all fear. It's like, what if we don't have enough? Or what if we're not good enough? And that voice that falls away, you're like, oh, wow, I am good enough. I am just love, and I'm doing the best I can. And then you start to attract people that are just like that. All right, lovies, I am sending you so much love. Thank you so much for being here. I hope you have a fabulous week. These messages were spot on for what I'm going through in my personal life. I really feel like I'm the wolf energy right now. I'm having more clarity about what I want to do with my life. And I know that all of you are going to be led. The universe is going to take you to what's best for you. So hop on the horse, hop on the unicorn, and let it take you there. All right, lovies, like, comment, subscribe, hit that bell, and I will see you in the next one. Peace out.